sport of football and not to have it politicized. So I understand their stance, although I don't have a problem with the insert, and I don't think it would affect the personal opinions of the individuals that they would stand or not stand when the anthem is played with an insert. But I understand that the NFL took that stance, and they want football to be about football.
They don't want the kneeling controversy to continue. They want to put that thing so far behind them it would have been last October.
Really? That doesn't look like it by this.
Well, let's get that in a moment. Here's what the veterans say, and who can argue with this? Here we go. Freedom of speech works both ways. We respect the rights of those who choose to protest, as these rights are precisely what our members have fought and in many cases died for. But imposing corporate censorship to deny that same right to those veterans who have secured it for us all is reprehensible and totally beyond the pale. Go for it, Rachel.
Amen to that. So I think there were a lot of football fans that didn't like the kneeling, but justified watching the games by going, look, that's their free speech. They can do that. But then when you have a veterans group, their free speech, and by the way, they're paying $30,000 for this ad in the program, so not entirely free speech. They're paying
cheap,
for
but it's not
to
$2 million
exercise
like
free
you go on
speech.
TV. That's right. No, you raise an interesting point.
True, but I'll just say I think this is the final straw for a lot of football fans.
Whoa.
I think the NFL is going to pay a price for this.
I think the numbers will be. The numbers were huge on Sunday. The viewership, Rachel, was as high as it's been since the Super Bowl last year. America is not abandoning the sport.
I know Americans love football, and it's the NFL leadership that's making Americans have to make a choice by doing stunts like this. Why not just let the veterans group write, please stand, totally non-controversial for the flag?
As I stated, had you done it, no one would have noticed. Leslie, I have a prediction. I don't think anyone kneels on Super Bowl Sunday. What do you think?
I disagree. I think there'll always be people that want to, especially since you know, people are looking and want to make attention. People say, look at me, I'm going to be different, and want to politicize this rather than just make this about football. And quite frankly, as the daughter of a veteran, if somebody doesn't want your money, take your money and spend it elsewhere, because that is $30,000, and quite frankly, it could be better spent if they don't want your message.
I'm the daughter of a veteran too. I called my dad. He's totally offended.
The Patriots were kneeling early in the season. I'm telling you, Bob Kraft won't put up with it for the Super Bowl. I don't think the Eagles management will either. And a lot of this comes down to the position the owners have. Rachel, last comment on that. I'm on record as saying nobody kneels on Super Bowl Sunday. Go.
I don't know if they will. I'll tell you that they are not in touch with the American people and the fans, and the president seems to have a lot better handle of where the American people are on this issue.
Rachel, thank you. Leslie, thanks to you as well from L.A. and Wisconsin today. Thank you, ladies. Have a great day.
You too.
You too.
We're awaiting a big speech now from CIA Director Mike Pompeo on a number of pressing national security threats facing the U.S. His speech coming as we learn more about those Americans killed in a terrorist attack overseas, as well as a new push to step up military efforts in Afghanistan. Retired four-star General Jack Keane is here on all of this next.
Mom and Dad got a new car with the extra third row seats. They think it's theirs. Look at them. They have no idea. It's not theirs. It's mine. 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 Mine.
The new RX 350L with 3 rows for 7 passengers.
Are you excited about your baby sister coming?
Experience space for the unexpected with the Lexus RXL, part of the RX family. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
I personally guarantee that my pillow will be the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own. It's machine washable and dryable, comes with a 10-year warranty and my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Call or go to MyPillow.com now. Use this promo code and Mike will give you a second MyPillow absolutely free. Hurry, this offer ends February 1st.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when this guy got a flat tire in the middle of the night, so he got home safe.
Yeah, my dad says their insurance doesn't have that. What?
You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
As the one who's always trapped beneath the duvet, I'm begging you, take Gas X. Your tossing and turning isn't restlessness, it's gas. Gas X relieves pressure, bloating, and discomfort in minutes, so we can all sleep easier tonight.
Fox News alert, we're awaiting a big speech from CIA Director Mike Pompeo, where he is expected to discuss some of the most pressing national security challenges currently facing the United States, including North Korea's nuclear weapons program.
North Korea's nuclear weapons program is continuing to expand, advance, become more powerful, more capable, more reliable. Each of those things had been shared with policymakers.
So to be clear, how close is Kim Jong-un to being able to deliver a nuclear attack to the territorial United States?
A handful of months.
Let's bring in retired four-star General Jack Keane, chairman of the Institute for the Study of War and a Fox News senior strategic analyst. General Keane, always good to see you. Thank you for coming on the program this morning. And as we know, you just attended a meeting with the president. You know the strategy. Is the current strategy a good one overall?
Well, I had a meeting with Director Pompeo at his request. But, you know, the strategy we got, clearly the president changed the strategy from his predecessor by, number one, putting the military option on the table, and two, going to a maximum pressure on North Korea. And by and large, that has been working, but whether it's enough remains to be seen. I think what we've got to do now, if Director Pompeo, obviously he has more information than anybody in the government, if he's saying this is months away, then I'm saying we got to be pulling out all the stops now and not wait for months away. And what am I talking about? Make sure that every country that is doing business with North Korea, it knocks it off. Just cut it off. And if China is not cutting it off, then we should sanction China. Number two, we have significant cyber offensive capability in this country. Nobody in the world is as good as we are. We should covertly be attacking North Korea's information systems, their command and control systems, whatever finance systems they've got, and all of their offensive cyber capability. We should take it down. We should turn them into a paper operation. And the third thing is we better start putting in a naval blockade on North Korea and make certain that nobody is getting in there with any kind of supplies whatsoever. Shut off the back door, which we all believe exists in getting fuel into North Korea. Make sure that that's shut down. And then the last thing, stop sending families into North Korea, military families. Make that an unaccompanied tour now and start making plans and thinking about how we're going to get Americans out of there.
All of this takes an incredibly strong U.S. military force, General Keane. How would you describe the situation overall with our military and the need for defense spending and funding?
Well, if we don't remove the continuing resolution and then also remove the budget caps, where we are, we're funding a military that has 5 out of 58 brigades ready for combat. 50% of all the airplanes are not flying because they lack the spare parts. We're the smallest military in 75 years. We need to grow it. We haven't put one dime into the Trump rebuilding of the military policy decision. Not a single dime has gone into that because the Congress hasn't appropriated the monies yet, and it has to lift the budget cap to be able to do that. The continuing resolution, as the name implies, we're continuing to live off the previous budget. which was significantly underfunded and brought us all these problems that we have.
So do these shutdowns, General Keane, do they affect the military in the way that it has been described through all this? I mean, you heard the president saying the Democrats are holding our military hostage. Is that the case?
Well, in my judgment, the military will still protect the American people. All of our operations go forward. All of our active duty people are on active duty. We're going to continue to function. Our ships are going to continue to sail. Planes are going to continue to fly. All that's going to happen. But it's a huge slap in the face for the military because we're not going to pay the people that are doing that. And, you know, many of our soldiers, like a lot of Americans do, and when I was a youngster in the military, I did, we lived from paycheck to paycheck. And they deserve to get paid so they can put food on the table and pay the bills and get baby's formula and all the rest of that needs to be done. That's a heck of a thing to do to soldiers who are out there defending this country and in harm's way to do something like that to them. I think it's outrageous and it's insulting, and certainly we have law enforcement officials who are in the same category.
General Keane, lastly, I want to ask you about the Air Force now deploying these A-10s to Afghanistan to ramp up the Taliban fight, and this coming as we're just learning about this Taliban attack on a Afghanistan hotel.
Well, yes, this is all part of the plan to beef up and increase the lethality of our capability in Afghanistan. Is something that we need to do. The president has made the right decision to stay the course, and that gets us away from the Obama policy of get out as quickly as we can. And number two, though, and I think the most critical thing after we put the additional resources in, we must shut down the Afghan Taliban sanctuaries that exist in Pakistan. That means we have to have a showdown with the Pakistanis over this. That is something it has to come out favorable to us, because we can't win the war in terms of the Afghan people having a stable government, relatively secure, unless we do that.
General Keane, it's always good to get your perspective. Thank you for coming on the program this morning.
Good talking to you, Sandra. John Scott's coming up next on Happening Now. Quick preview what's coming up your way. Hey, John, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. 10 minutes away, your federal government open once again after a compromise, but each side still blames the other for a shutdown. So what will it mean for legislators up for re-election in 2018? Plus, the U.S. stepping up its presence in Afghanistan, putting the ferocious A-10 Thunderbolt back in the air for the first time in 3 years. What prompted this aggressive move against the Taliban? And fear on the West Coast this morning after a tsunami warning follows a major earthquake off Alaska. Top of the hour.
See you then, John, in 10 minutes. A mother-daughter team up to steal from a store. Yep, they walked out with the tip jar, and now police want to talk to both. Can't make that up.
What does the future of the internet hold? Is it high-speed bandwidth for a rancher and his business? Or accessibility for millions in developing countries? Is it a reliable connection on the morning commute? Or video conferencing from 30,000 feet? At Airborne Wireless Network, our technology is leading the way to make that a reality. What does the future hold? Maybe it's connectivity for all.
You take care of business. Let Office Depot Office Max take care of you. This week at Office Depot Office Max, save big on tax software for your business. Plus, let us help you manage your business finances at OfficeDepot.com/BizBox.
Your brain changes as you get older, but Prevagen helps your brain with an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember.
Loretta Lynch controversy. Does new evidence prove she coordinated with Comey during the Clinton probe? Jonathan Turley has insight you can't miss on the story.
Who can be a victim of identity theft? Anyone. You, me, even reality TV star and owner of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, Rick Harrison.
Identity thieves don't care who you are. They just want the money. My identity was stolen. I had over a dozen credit cards and accounts all across the country. I don't know how to fix identity theft.
Rick Harrison helps protect his identity with LifeLock.
Over a dozen accounts were opened in my name, and LifeLock helped fix things every time.
Credit card notifications and checking statements don't show you enough. Even if you monitor your credit, you can miss certain identity theft threats. LifeLock's proprietary network sees more, like your information being sold on the dark web. If there is a problem, our U.S.-based restoration agents dedicated to your case will work to fix it.
As a LifeLock member, I have a whole team of people who've got my back. If there's a problem, I got my guys.
When someone takes what's yours, you want it back. With LifeLock's $1 Million Protection Package, if your money is taken or if you have expenses due to identity theft, LifeLock will either get it back for you or reimburse you for it up to the limit of your plan. Plus, we'll provide lawyers and experts if that's what it takes.
When I don't know enough about something, I call in an expert. When it comes to my identity, the expert I use is LifeLock.
Join today for as low as $9.99 per month and get 30 days free with promo code JOINNOW. LifeLock members get identity threat detection and alerts, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration agent assigned to your case, and you'll be covered by LifeLock's $1 Million Protection Package. Start your membership today. Enroll in minutes.
It's sort of like having your big 400-pound bodyguard standing next to you. No. Deal with him.
LifeLock. Call 1-800-495-0973 or visit LifeLockSpecial.com. Use promo code JOINNOW to get 30 days free and a free shredder with annual membership. Call right now.
The chairman of the Fox News Channel offering a solution to the fake news you find on social media. Rupert Murdoch has an idea. Pay up. He wants Facebook and Google to pay a fee for using content from trusted news publishers like Fox and like the Wall Street Journal. Deidre Bolton now has more from the Fox Business Network. What's the idea, Deidre? Good morning.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. So this was a surprise announcement from Mr. Murdoch, but it is one that many analysts say was due to come from somewhere for both Facebook and Google. So Mr. Murdoch stated that those two companies' algorithms have become, and these are his words, inherently unreliable for distributing news. So Facebook and Google, as to follow, just as much media companies, if you like, as tech companies. So the argument is that Facebook and Google should start paying publishers. You mentioned a few, the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Washington Post, for content that is displayed on their site. So it's a lot like the cable business model. Due to public pressure, Facebook has said it would favor news stories from trusted sources, but it actually didn't give any more details as to which publishers are being considered trusted or elaborate on its survey methods. Facebook, you know this, faced a huge problem in the run-up to the U.S. presidential campaign last year. At the time, Facebook said its algorithms were not able to be manipulated, but then the company had to do a whole about-face and admit that Russian agents created 80,000 posts that reached about 126 million people over 2 years. The UK, a similar kind of instance. Facebook widened an investigation into the run-up of that Brexit referendum, of course, on EU membership, thinking perhaps it was influenced as well by Russia. Facebook, we know, largest social network, more than 2 billion users. So even if they have to pay, or Google, they have the money. Just worth noting, Bill. They do. And the stocks have been on a tear. But analysts seem to agree with Mr. Murdoch that both those companies just need to figure out how to evolve as social media companies in a democracy.
Facebook reacted to this yet or not?
No statements as of yet from either company,
okay, we'll
Facebook
follow
or Google.
Thank you, Deidre.
Sure.
Nice to see you.
Great to see you.
Any moment now, CIA Director Mike Pompeo is set to take that podium and discuss the most pressing national security challenges we face as a nation. We will take you there live the second that gets underway.
When our country used to flex its muscle with battleships like the USS Iowa, the world would listen. It's time we return to the America I remember. Hi, I'm William Devane. There are dangerous forces everywhere pulling our country apart, threatening our economy and our way of life. That's why I'm going to do two things: support our military and buy gold from Roslyn Capital. I've never felt safe relying on paper money to protect my assets. That's why I buy gold from Roslyn. With Roslyn, what you order is what you get. No gimmicks, no nonsense, no hassle. We're all safer with our ships patrolling the seas. And my assets are a whole lot safer with gold from Roslyn Capital. So ask yourself, are you safe?
Call now to get your free gold, silver, and IRA kits. Call 800-630-8900. 800-630-8900. 800-630-8900.
Let's take a look at some numbers. 4 out of 5 people who have a stroke, their first symptom is a stroke. 80% of all strokes and heart disease preventable. And $149 is all it takes to get screened and help take control of your health. We're Lifeline Screening. And if you're over 50, call this number to schedule an appointment for 5 painless screenings that go beyond regular checkups. We use ultrasound technology to literally look inside your arteries for plaque, which builds up as you age and increases your risk for stroke and cardiovascular disease. And by getting them through this package, you're saving over 50%. So call today and consider these numbers. For just $149, you'll receive 5 screenings that could reveal what your body isn't telling you.
And I'm going to tell you that's the best $150 I've ever spent in my life.
Lifeline Screening. The power of prevention. Call now to learn more.
I lost 25 pounds on Jenny Craig.
From a top diet 7 years straight comes the all-new Rapid Results by Jenny Craig. Lose up to 16 pounds in just 4 weeks with food you love. Eat 6 times a day with no prepping or cooking.
You have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner ready to go. It's all laid out for you.
So you can get on with your day and watch the pounds melt off.
Man up, give them a call.
Start Rapid Results for $16 plus the cost of food and get $70 in free food. Hurry, this offer won't last long.
If you just sign that first
I'm
one
so
there.
sorry. I don't feel comfortable signing that.
I don't get the math here.
Was this the same car we talked about?
What's this dealer preparation fee?
I'm so sorry. This just is not
what we talked about.
Get the car without the car salesman. Carvana.com, the better way to buy a car.
A mom and daughter team accused of stealing a tip jar from a restaurant. The manager says the mom distracted him with a bunch of questions while the daughter, at the top of your screen, grabs the tip jar, then wraps it in a sweater, and they did get away with an unknown amount of money. Police in Corona, California now attempting to identify the suspect.
Now that there is clever, huh,
Whoa.
Smitty?
The art of distraction?
The art of distraction, clearly.
This show was moving.
The only problem is there was a camera up there.
Well, there you go. That's an issue. Except for I don't know if the faces made it on there. That might make it difficult. All right. Well, what a Tuesday.
What it is.
Thanks, Bill. Happening Now starts right now.
Fox News alert on this Tuesday, and the director of the CIA, Mike Pompeo, set to discuss the most pressing national security challenges facing the United States. A live look there at the American Enterprise Institute in Washington as we await the CIA director's remarks. They're expected to touch on North Korea's nuclear program, the rise of China and Russia, and ongoing threats from terror groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda. We will keep you updated on this very important story. But we begin today with Uncle Sam turning the lights back on all across the country as President Trump signs a bill reopening the government after a 3-day shutdown. Good morning to you. I'm John Scott.
And I'm Melissa Francis. The president taking a victory lap, praising a big win for Republicans after Congress voted for a stopgap funding bill. But it's a different picture on the other side of the aisle, with some Democrats blasting Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer for agreeing to the deal. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders saying the Democrats had no choice but to compromise.
Democrats realized that the position that they had taken, frankly, was indefensible, and that they had to focus on first funding our military, protecting Border Patrol agents, funding vulnerable children through the CHIP program. These were things that they didn't disagree with.
But this could be only a ceasefire in the shutdown battle, with a new fight looming over immigration reform. Chief White House correspondent John Roberts is live on the North Lawn. John.
And good morning to you, Melissa. Start with a little bit of a headline here. And it's a headline because we just learned about it, not that it just happened. Fox News has confirmed that within the last week or so, the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, was interviewed for several hours by the Special Counsel's Office of Robert Mueller. They were talking about the Russia investigation, the idea of possible obstruction of justice in the Comey investigation, not to say that they believe that there was, just checking to see if there might possibly be. He is the highest-ranking member of the Trump administration to be interviewed by the Special Counsel's Office. Last hour, Mercedes Schlapp, who is the White House Director of Strategic Communications, weighed in on it. Listen here.
Sessions is continuing in his work. The president has confidence in Attorney General Sessions and the work that he's doing. And as we have said, we have cooperated fully in this investigation.
The president will be spending much of today preparing for his trip to Davos, Switzerland, and the World Economic Forum. He leaves tomorrow sometime. He's got a number of bilateral meetings, including Theresa May, the United Kingdom. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We're also told that he'll speak with the leader of one African nation and one other person as well. So it looks like 4 bilateral meetings. Then he's got a big speech to the World Economic Forum on Friday. The president had DACA on his mind this morning, though, tweeting, quote, "Nobody knows for sure that the Republicans and Democrats will be able to reach a deal on DACA by February 8th, but everyone will be trying." With a big additional focus put on military strength and border security, the Dems have just learned that a shutdown is not the answer. The president's legislative affairs director, Mark Short, will be heading up to Capitol Hill about midday today to resume negotiations on DACA. Pushing back on claims this morning, Short was, by Chuck Schumer that negotiating with the president is like negotiating with Jell-O. Here's Short earlier.
The president, I think, has been crystal clear on what we want on immigration. We laid out very specifically what our priorities and principles were. And again, a few weeks back, we refined that list to be a little bit more careful and specific on exactly the 4 pillars we've been asking for: fix DACA, handle border security, end chain migration, and end the visa lottery program.
Yesterday, before the House and Senate even voted on that congressional resolution, the president was holding meetings here at the White House on DACA. One meeting with Senator John Cornyn of Texas, Tom Cotton of Arkansas, David Perdue of Georgia, Senator Lankford of Oklahoma, Grassley of Iowa, and Senator Tillis of North Carolina. And then a separate meeting with Joe Manchin, senator from West Virginia, as well as Senator Doug Jones from Alabama. That's the first time that the president has met with Senator Jones. They're taken to be moderates on the Democratic side, people the president believes that he can work with. The White House, meanwhile, says that there has been some progress in negotiations over DACA. There's been a realization on the part of the Democrats that they need to provide more money for construction of the wall. And then at the same time, the White House is willing to give a little bit on the number of actual DACA recipients there might be out there. Melissa, the current number that folks are working with is 690,000. The Democrats contend there could be as many as 2 million because a lot of potential DACA recipients have not come out of the shadows. The White House indicating that 2 million number may be a little on the high side, but they are willing to go up from the number of 690,000. Melissa?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is nobody really knows, and we won't know till we do something about it. It's interesting to even try and guess. John Roberts, thank you.
Thank you.
So a Wall Street Journal column on the shutdown caught our eye this morning. It reads in part, "Most Americans want their government to stay open and want legal status for the dreamers, but are getting neither at a time when a compromise to have both was and is available." Joining us now, the writer and executive Washington editor of the Wall Street Journal, Jerry Seibs. So you point out the incongruities of this whole government shutdown. People want the government open. Most people, a whopping 75% of Americans, according to the polls, want some kind of legal status for the dreamers. And yet those two things clashed, and we ended up with a shutdown government over the weekend. Why?
Well, look, I think this was a classic Washington case in which the base of each party had more influence than those people in the center until the weekend, when you had that bipartisan group of about 22 senators in the center who kind of asserted themselves and said, essentially, let's do the deal that's available now. Let's fund the government. Let's give ourselves 3 weeks to solve the dreamers problem, to come up with a bipartisan solution. And meantime, we'll get the rest of the government back open. And that's ultimately what happened. That deal was probably there to be done last week, and it's there to be done this week. And that's what's puzzling about this. I do think now the key question is whether people can come to a solution for the dreamers, and whether people in Congress can figure out, and particularly in the Senate in the first instance, what's President Trump's bottom line. Will he accept a deal on the dreamers, and will he give Republicans some cover for giving them legal status?
Well, if you touch a hot stove, you get burned. Who got burned in this circumstance, and who is more likely likely to, to bend a little bit on the Dreamers' question?
Well, look, that's the classic Washington question, and I think the consensus at the moment is Democrats got burned and they'll pay the price. I think we've also learned, though, having gone through these things over the years, that the way that looks now may be different by November when an election rolls around. I mean, there were times which Republicans thought they'd gotten burned in a shutdown scenario, and they did just fine in the next election. So my guess is that the answer to your question really doesn't turn on what's happened so far, but what happens over the next few weeks. Is this resolved? Do Democrats get out of this process a deal on the Dreamers that they can take to their base and say, we succeeded here? And do Republicans, are Republicans allowed to say, we got in return for that the kinds of things on other border issues, on the wall, on chain migration, and the visa lottery system that the president demanded? It may be that both parties end up walking away from this saying, we got what we really needed out of this deal.
But there was that offer of compromise. I mean, the Lindsey Graham, Dick Durbin legislation would have offered legal status for the Dreamers, but it also would have funded part of the border wall, and neither party seemed to like what was put on the table there. Why not?
Well, and that's where the Democrats' complaint comes in. I mean, Dick Durbin says, I thought we had a deal along those lines, that Dick Durbin being the Democratic senator from Illinois and a top Democratic leader in the Senate. We went to the White House and we couldn't figure out why the president wouldn't accept that. We didn't know what his bottom line was on wall funding and on the visa lottery and on things like that. The White House says, look, we've been consistent all along. Our position was separate these two things, keep the government funded, we'll work out the details. And we at the White House prevailed on that question. And so that's where the disconnect came, I think. But I think what's frustrating to most people, most average Americans, I think, and a lot of people in Congress as well, is that the deal to prevent that was there for the taking. It just wasn't seized.
So the tail is sort of wagging the dog in both parties, you're saying?
I think to some extent that's right. Although, I think in the short term, most people think the White House got the better of this particular episode. And as I said, the White House is very happy right now with the way this has turned out. They think they had a message that said, we'll get this resolved. Let's separate the two things and push ahead. That's where we are right now. But as I said, the real bottom line is going to be determined in about 3 weeks, because everybody's forgetting we haven't solved this problem. Yeah. We've only pushed it down the road for 3 weeks. The next couple of weeks are really crucial.
Executive editor of the Wall Street Journal there in D.C., where things will continue to be interesting. Jerry Seib, thank you.
Thank you.
Talks taking place next week between the U.S. and 3 European countries on Iran. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson to outline the flaws in the Iran deal and try to get Europe to help restrict missile testing and development in Iran, as well as an increase in inspections. President Trump, as you know, not a fan of the 2015 Iran deal and has said he wants to get out of the agreement unless changes are made.
Well, Chapter 1 of the shutdown battle is over. Chapter 2 is coming now with a looming battle over immigration reform. A Republican senator joins us live next.
The U.S. bankruptcy courts have established trusts to compensate those diagnosed with lung cancer or mesothelioma. $30 billion has been set aside for those suffering from asbestos-related diseases. Thousands of people have already received compensation. To learn more, contact us now for a free consultation. Call 1-800-950-MESO. For nearly 2 decades, we've been fighting for people with lung cancer and mesothelioma. Call us at 1-800-950-MESO. Lung cancer and mesothelioma. Don't fight it alone.
Introducing the brand new South Beach Diet. I'm Jesse James Decker, and if y'all want to know how I stay in shape, I do it with the South Beach Diet.
Lose up to 9 pounds and 3 inches overall in your first 2 weeks. Order your 28-day plan today with fully prepared meals delivered to your door. Breakfast, lunches, dinners, even snacks.
I lost 38 pounds.
It's safe and healthy weight loss, easy to follow, and it works.
I lost 30 pounds on the South Beach Diet.
South Beach is a low-carb, low-sugar, high-protein program that burns fat and transforms your metabolism.
I lost 24 pounds.
Order your 28-day plan right now and receive a week of our all-new South Beach Complete Shakes free. They're packed with 20 grams of protein, no added sugar, a great source of probiotics, vitamins, and they taste great. Call or go online in the next 2 minutes and we'll even throw in free FedEx shipping. Lose up to 9 pounds and 3 inches overall in your first 2 weeks.
Trust me, the South Beach Diet works. Call or click right now.
Call 888-751-FIRM or go to southbeachdiet.com and get 1 week of shakes free.
It was getting to be a struggle to get in and out of the tub.
Yeah, we were really worried about falling.
And we needed a solution to stay safe in our own home.
So we got an American Standard walk-in bath.
American Standard is celebrating over 140 years in business with our best offer on our Liberation walk-in baths.
They have a lifetime warranty on the bath, the installation, including the labor. I've never heard of that before.
American Standard has the only walk-in bath with over 20 comfort and safety features, including an ultra-low entryway, 44 massaging jets to help relieve aches and pains, and our patented quick drain technology, which drains your bath in less than 2 minutes. Other brands can leave you sitting in the cold. So call now for your free information kit. For a limited time, get $1,500 in savings, including a free American Standard right height toilet.
Don't delay. Call 1-800-425-8414 for your free information kit and $1,500 in savings, including a free toilet. That's 1-800-425-8414.
I'm pretty handy around the house, but now that I have kids, I don't want to spend a Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. Thankfully, there's Home Advisor. A Home Advisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. They have verified reviews of the pros, and they do background checks, so you know you can trust them with your home. You can compare prices, book appointments, and what my wife loves most is that Home Advisor is completely free to use.
Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
A Fox News alert and a fascinating turn of events in Washington, where Fox News has confirmed that the Attorney General Jeff Sessions, the top law enforcement officer of the United States, sat down for an interview with Bob Mueller's team investigating Russian interference in U.S. elections and anything else that might be related to that. Now, of course, the Attorney General recused himself from participation in anything involving the Russia investigation, which is how the Mueller investigation sprang to life in the first place, because Attorney General Sessions decided to sit this one out. We know that he was there, the Attorney General, with his attorney. We don't know what he said. That may come to light in the coming weeks and months, but it is a fascinating time to watch politics in Washington. We'll continue to stay on top of it for you.
Fox News alert. The government shutdown may be over, but a new battle is just beginning on Capitol Hill as lawmakers have less than 3 weeks to come up with a comprehensive immigration deal, including a fix for the Dreamers. Senate leaders from both sides making their opening arguments.
If an agreement isn't reached by February the 8th, the Senate will immediately proceed to consideration of legislation dealing with DACA. The process will be neutral and fair to all sides.
Let me be clear. This immigration debate will have a level playing field at the outset and an amendment process that is fair to all sides.
Let's bring in Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. He is a member of the Finance Committee. Sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Do you believe those words that you heard? Because that is quite a difference from what we have seen from Washington lately. It would be nice to think that everybody's on a level playing field to go out there and have an adult conversation about this, but unfortunately we haven't seen a lot of that lately.
There's actually been a lot of conversation. One, I agree with your point. That said, there's been a lot of conversation regarding immigration. And I take the leader at his word. There'll be an open amendment process. Everybody can throw up the amendments they wish to propose, a full vetting, full debate, and hopefully we come up with a product that increases border security and addresses the other concerns.
You do not doubt, I don't think, from where we sit, that everybody wants a solution on this. I mean, it has been a problem for a long time, both border security and what to do about immigration in this country, how to make legal immigration more straightforward, and what to do about illegal immigration. Do you think that there's enough give and take? Because both sides have things that they want, and both sides have things that they can't possibly abide by.
Well, one, it's not comprehensive. Your lead-in spoke of a comprehensive agreement, and it's not comprehensive. There's 4 pillars that are being focused on, and there's bipartisan agreement on that. The president, who has said that he wants border security, but he's willing to deal with DACA. So the president, I think, is the one who makes or breaks this. And I think he has the ability to make it.
Yeah.
So the left is going to say, oh my gosh, he's going back on his word. No, give him border security and he's willing to deal, but he's not going to take a half measure on border security.
So you talked about the 4 pillars. You're absolutely right, and forgive us for that mistake, but we've seen others bring in other things and insist on them. I mean, most recently with that continuing resolution where Democrats insisted on attaching DACA, which had nothing to do with the conversation at hand. Do you think you'll be able to limit it to those 4 pillars?
I think the only way you get it through is by limiting it to the 4 pillars, because otherwise it begins to spill out into something which neither right nor left feels as if they can tolerate. If you focus on those 4 pillars, there's a deal to be had.
The other concern is that February 8th is right around the corner. I mean, how far apart do you feel like you are? Do you think that's enough time?
Whether or not it is enough time, we don't know. But keep in mind, DACA actually doesn't end until March the 5th. So the February the 8th is the time when we would begin debate on a bill, but the bill would not have to be completed, if you will, till March the 5th. And I'm sure it could be extended a little bit beyond that. So yes, that 8th is out there, but I think that we have a little bit more room than that would suggest.
Can you give us a sense, I mean, you talked about the talks that are already going on. Can you give us a sense of what those conversations are like, you know, both in tone and content at all?
It is mutually now I'm speaking principally of the Republican side, but I've spoken to Democrats too, and it is respectful. It is an understanding that if we go beyond these parameters of the 4 pillars, we will lose everything. And I noticed that Democrats are now speaking about border security once more, if you will, going back to where they were a few years ago. They're coming back to it, and understanding that it is a quid pro quo. We've got to have border security. If we have that, then we can address the issue of DACA.
Yeah, I mean, the hang-up has been that Democrats have said they agree with the idea of border security, and even the president has softened his language to be a wall system. You know, instead of saying there will be a wall from end to end, you know, we've sort of cleared up what it actually means. So it seems like both sides on that are close together. It's about allocating funds. Our Democrats, I mean, they generally like to spend money, so it would be surprising if they don't want to allocate funds.
Yeah, and you have to be careful. If they say we'll give you $2 billion now and $23 billion in future years, well, you know, the check's in the mail. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
One thing my office is looking at, you know, there's a lot of supposedly $120 billion in ill-gotten gains that go from the drug trade south of the border. Is there a way to capture a portion of that, using a percentage of that to fund the wall? It wouldn't be the Mexican government funding the wall, it would be the Mexican cartels. And we think that's a very viable solution. We're looking into the practicality of it.
Senator Bill Cassidy, interesting stuff. Good luck to you. Thank you for spending time with us today.
Thank you.
Well, a volcano erupting in the Philippines, heavy lava and ash forcing thousands to evacuate, why more danger could be imminent there. Plus, Senate Democrats facing criticism for their negotiations to end the government shutdown.
We were always confused as what the strategy was, is to say we're going to shut down the government, take all the American troops' paychecks hostage, take the Customs and Border Patrol paycheck hostage.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Do you hate your full face mask? Tired of the severe pain and discomfort? Now you can eliminate the pain and torture of your CPAP mask and sleep in total comfort. Invented by an actual sleep apnea patient, this incredible product ends the need to use awful full face masks. And because it has no straps and no headgear, you'll be comfortable and get your best CPAP sleep ever. Go to nomask.com, NOMASK.com to end your nightly torture. That's nomask.com.
We've been preparing for this day. Over the years, Paul and I have met regularly with our Ameriprise advisor. We plan for everything from retirement to college savings, giving us the ability to add on for an important member of our family. Welcome home, Mom. With the right financial advisor, life can be brilliant.
I was up and down with my weight my entire life.
When diets don't work, it's easy to quit. From a top diet 7 years straight comes the new Rapid Results.
If you see immediate results, you stick with it.
Lose up to 16 pounds in just 4 weeks. With one-on-one support, you'll see change fast. Eat 6 times a day. The secret is what you eat and when. Call 1-800-96-JENNY and start Rapid Results for $16 plus the cost of food and get $70 in free food. Hurry, call now.
Now ADT can help protect your family at home and on the go. Call today and get an ADT starter kit professionally installed for only $49. Plus, you'll get ADT Go, the new family mobile safety app and service for free with any ADT security system.
Hi, I'm the one clocking in when you're clocking out, sensing and automatically adjusting to your every move. Does your bed do that? I'm the new Sleep Number 360 smart bed. Let's meet at a Sleep Number store.
Vicente Fox on Hannity. From safety and security to illegal immigration and the real state of U.S.-Mexican relations, Sean and the former president square off.
I'm Dr. Joseph Cranen, a sleep apnea specialist. If you're using a CPAP machine, you could develop a respiratory illness if it's not cleaned properly. That's why I strongly recommend SoClean. SoClean quickly, easily, and effectively kills 99.9% of CPAP germs and bacteria without any harsh chemicals and works on all popular CPAPs.
I don't have to pour products into the SoClean in order for it to do its job. It's incredibly simple to use.
In the morning, I wake up, I take the hose, the mask, plop it into the machine, close the lid, and I'm done.
Try the world's first automated CPAP sanitizer, risk-free for 30 days. Call 800-837-8513.
SoClean gives me the peace of mind in knowing that I'm breathing sanitized air from my CPAP at night.
I don't have to worry about anything growing in the reservoir, the mask, nothing. It's all clean, it's all dry, it's all fresh.
Call now to try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Call 800-837-8513 or visit trysoclean.com.
The Philippines on high alert. Volcanic eruptions that began Monday were followed by several blasts today. Look at that. Shooting massive plumes of ash into the sky and spewing lava. Thousands of villagers were forced from their homes. Right now, officials setting the danger zone at a 5-mile radius from the crater, but that could soon expand.
Fox News alert, we have learned that the Attorney General of the United States, Jeff Sessions, sat down for an interview with Robert Mueller, the man investigating Russian interference in the U.S. elections last time around, and anything related to that, an investigation that has touched former members of the president's inner circle. Joining us now, Principal White House Deputy Press Secretary Raj Shah. I want to start with that, Raj, because it is the big news of the morning. How does the White House characterize that meeting between the Attorney General and the Mueller team?
Well, thanks for having me on. In general, we don't comment on witnesses or other matters concerning the special counsel. We've been supportive and cooperative of this process. We believe it will end soon and find what we've known all along, which is that there was no collusion during the 2016 campaign and no findings of wrongdoing, and we expect it to wrap up soon.
Can you tell us any details? I mean, was this an interview with Mr. Mueller personally? Was it his investigators? And how long did it last?
Frankly, I'm not aware of the details concerning it, but we've been cooperative as a White House and as an administration, and we believe that the special counsel is going to find what we already know.
And you believe that this investigation is going to be over quickly?
Yeah, the White House's view is that it
down. Critics are slamming Democrats, mainly Chuck Schumer, when it came to negotiating. Raj Shah, our current guest, saying the Democrats blinked.
I think that the fact that they're voting in favor of this proposal that they had rejected a few days ago is sort of evidence that they blinked.
So let's get back to our interview with Raj Shah, Deputy White House Press Secretary. That characterization that Democrats blinked, you stand by that?
Absolutely. Look, Chuck Schumer and the other Democrats were offered a solid bill on Friday. It was to keep the government open for about 4 weeks, to pay our military, to pay our first responders, and also to extend children's health insurance. They rejected that deal on Friday and got put into an untenable position of saying they wanted unrelated legislation about immigration reform to be a part of any effort to keep the government open. You can't take the interests of 600,000 to 700,000 illegal immigrants over the interests of hundreds of millions of law-abiding American citizens who need national security, who need basic government services. They were in an untenable position, and they basically voted to reopen the government just a few days later.
Need a quick answer from you. A lot of people are scratching their heads this morning, wondering what was accomplished by the shutdown. What's your answer?
Well, frankly, I'm as confused and scratching my head as much as anybody else about what Chuck Schumer was thinking. You'd have to ask him. We've heard a lot about how, the president may have not been as vocal or forward-leaning in some of these measures, but actually he got the job done in 3 days without holding any press conferences. Chuck Schumer held 3 and got 0 for it. So we think the president handled this the right way. The Republicans on the Hill handled this the right way. Chuck Schumer put him and his Senate Democratic colleagues in a completely untenable and frankly irresponsible position. And frankly, we're happy that they came to their senses and did the right thing. We're sad it took 3 days of a shutdown for them to do that. But that's where we have it today.
And you don't think we'll be back here on February 8th going through the same drill again?
Well, we want to move forward, and we're welcoming a debate about immigration reform. That's what the Democrats want. That's what this White House and Republicans want. We want a bill that deals with the DACA population, that also deals with the 3 core issues that we've talked about, which is ending the visa lottery, reforming the extended family chain migration system, and rural border security with a southern border wall. If we can get those things in a package, and we'd like to get it, forget February 8th, we'd love to get it tomorrow, we'd have a deal, and we want to move forward on that. But we think shutting down the government for hundreds of millions of Americans while we're working on immigration legislation is just not appropriate.
Raj Shah is Principal, White House Deputy Press Secretary. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Stunning new revelations about tens of thousands of missing text messages between 2 FBI officials under fire for anti-Trump bias. How will this affect the Russia investigation?
The world's largest investment bank purchased $300 million of gold for their own account. What do they know that you don't? Investors are snapping up gold. This commodity is on the verge of an epic comeback. Gold and silver, opportunity of a lifetime.
You're seeing a lot of very big, very smart money move into precious metals. They get it. They know what's coming.
Call now and get this exclusive video. See why banks, billionaires, and financial experts are buying gold.
The richest guys who know what they're talking about, like Dalio and those guys, they're shifting into gold now.
Call Lear Capital at 1-800-452-5050 for your free video and special report, Banks, Billionaires, and Plan B. First-time callers receive this 1-gram gold-plated bar free.
Everybody should have gold in their portfolio.
Get your free information and ask how you can receive up to $600 in free gold. Call 1-800-452-5050. 1-800-452-5050. Call now.
People everywhere are getting clear skin. Their acne gone, with results that'll blow you away.
This is insane. It's so dramatic.
Get ready for a skin clearing breakthrough from America's #1 acne brand. It's called Proactiv Md. Check out how annoying blemishes around your chin disappear. Random blackheads on your nose dissolve away. Even red, painful pimples can vanish and become smooth. Imagine what Proactiv Md can do for your skin.
My friends, they see my face and it's just like, man, you're a new man. And I'm like, yeah, I am.
Proactiv Md is different. It includes an advanced retinoid that you can only get from a doctor until now. This retinoid penetrates deep to stop acne at the cellular level, and it keeps working for 24 hours, so new breakouts don't stand a chance. This is the clear skin solution you've been searching for.
Wow, I look at that picture, it's just like, it actually works.
Right now, get the new Proactiv Md 3-piece system at an incredible price. Sold separately, it costs $45, but order before this clock runs out, and you'll pay only $19.95. That's more than half off. Just call 1-800-279-7299.
Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Proactiv Md definitely works.
Order quickly, and we'll also include our all-new charcoal cleansing brush, a $55 value, free.
Getting that brush for free, I mean, why wouldn't you do that? It's adorable. I love it.
Try Proactiv Md for 60 days. Get clear skin or your money back, but keep the charcoal brush no matter what.
Proactiv Md is the only thing that's worked for me. My skin has never looked this good.
New system, new brush, new offer. A $100 value for just $19.95. Go to proactiv.com or call 1-800-279-7299 before time runs out.
Today, we're finally getting our bathtub redone. We weren't happy with it.
But we didn't want the headaches of demolition.
Or the days without our bathroom. Then a friend told us about Bath Fitter and their unique tub-over-tub process. There's no demolition, and they install in as little as a day. They also have a seamless wall for a watertight fit. And Bath Fitter has a lifetime guarantee. What a difference. Finally, a bathtub I love.
Call today or learn more at bathfitter.com.
A big magnitude 7.9 earthquake off Alaska's Kodiak Island in the wee hours of this morning. Officials asking residents to go to higher ground. Tsunami warnings issued earlier, but they have now been canceled. William Lajeunesse live in Los Angeles with the latest. William?
Well, John, this is what people heard. Get in your car and get to higher ground. That was the warning issued early this morning to residents in parts of Alaska and Canada after the 7.9 magnitude earthquake rumbled to life 300 miles south of Anchorage, prompting the National Tsunami Warning Center to issue a warning for Alaska and Canada and a watch for Washington, Oregon, California, and Hawaii. Now, residents in several Alaska towns woke up to a cell phone alert and a siren and a loudspeaker urging them to evacuate, either drive inland or find the highest point that they could. Now, in San Francisco, officials warned residents within 3 blocks of the coast and 5 blocks of the bay to prepare to evacuate. However, after the quake failed to generate more than a 6-inch wave and a minor rise in tide, the Weather Service canceled the warning. Now, this quake hit in an area called the Ring of Fire, where the Pacific and the North American plates collide. In 2011, a quake in the area caused a small tsunami that rocked boats and caused damage in Santa Cruz, south of San Francisco. This quake lasted about 1 minute and only caused minor damage compared to the 9.2 quake of 1964, which leveled Anchorage and caused waves and really created this warning system that they used today. John?
Good news, no tsunami. Thanks very much. William Lajeunesse out of Los Angeles. You bet.
A Fox News alert on the Russia investigation. Special counsel Robert Mueller's team interviewing Attorney General Jeff Sessions last week. This as the House Intelligence Committee is now severing communications with the Justice Department and the FBI because Republican leaders believe both agencies are not cooperating in their requests for documents in several investigations. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of text messages between FBI officials under fire for anti-Trump bias are now missing. Reaction from Trey Gowdy.
What's also troubling to me is this text that Johnny Radcliffe found last night about this secret society. Now, I have no clue what that means because that was not the phraseology I used, but it's the day after the election, and it's the same two people that were discussing a little bit later in the text the damage they had done with the Clinton investigation and how they could, quote, fix it and make it right. That is a level of bias that is stunning among law enforcement officers.
Patrick Griffin is a former media consultant to 4 Republican presidential campaigns. Julian Epstein is a former chief counsel to the House Judiciary Committee and a former staff director for the House Government Reform Committee. Gentlemen, thanks to both of you for coming on. Patrick, let me ask you, I mean, in one of these texts, Trey Gowdy went on to say, they said, perhaps this is the first meeting of the secret society. These 2 FBI agents, I mean, that is really disturbing. Coming from 2 FBI agents the day after an election that they clearly didn't agree with. This is upsetting stuff for the American people. What do you think?
I think, Melissa, the more we talk about some of this language,
secret societies and this idea of, an insurance policy. The FBI are sounding more like the mob than the FBI here. This is like something out of a Dan Brown novel. Look, the purpose of this investigation was to preserve the credibility of Robert Mueller. Democrats and Republicans both agree when Mr. Mueller got this job that the one thing he brought to the table, his stock in trade, was his credibility. Unfortunately, these institutions around him, some of his investigators, have muddied that a bit, and it's exactly the opening that President Trump needs, I think, to throw a little fuel on this fire and basically indicate that this is not a legitimate investigation. Forget the legality of this. This is about optics and politics, and it's not good right now.
Okay, Julian, I mean, the facts of this case so far look really bad. I mean, more than 50,000 texts where, first of all, I don't know if I've even ever sent my husband 50,000 texts in my life. I mean, that's a lot of texts. And then saying that the 5 months between December 14th, 2017 and May 17th, 2017, those have mysteriously gone missing. This is after the election when this group may have been doing what is the scariest of their work after election they didn't agree with. Now those texts are all suddenly gone and can't be retrieved. That looks terrible.
Well, it does look bad, and there should be a complete investigation, and the Inspector General is investigating it, and I'd say let's let chips fall where they may. I mean, to hear Republicans come on television and compare the FBI to the mafia, the FBI that's been led, the two recent directors have been both lifelong Republican appointees, is somewhat shocking. And I think, while this is bad, you certainly want to know of any bias that's going on at any level of the FBI. Mueller removed the two individuals involved from the investigation, so I think that will help Mueller and the credibility in the investigation. Remember, there have been multiple attempts now to kind of impugn the credibility of this investigation. But we have 4 indictments, 2 guilty pleas. We have multiple efforts by the Trump campaign to meet with Russian surrogates. We have multiple instances in which Trump associates lied about those meetings during the campaign and during the transition. And there have been all of these efforts to kind of discredit what even Republicans on Capitol Hill are saying is a very important, legitimate investigation. I just don't think, given that Mueller removed these individuals, it's going to work.
We've revealed all of this other stuff. And Patrick, it's not even 2 agents anymore who were biased. I mean, these are people who appear to be weaponizing law enforcement on a federal level to attack a political opponent.
Well, look, everybody has the right to their own political opinion. The question is, if you can leave that at the door during an investigation like this, you should have the right in America to have your own political thoughts and feelings. The problem here is that that is not the case. And the investigation has been impugned by the investigators. This is not a question of mocking the FBI. This is a question of looking at what's happened and realizing they have put themselves in a very, very difficult place to effectively and with credibility prosecute this case. The bottom line here is the Mueller investigation was designed to find out who higher up the chain might have known about this Russian collusion. And the person that's been in the hot white spotlight of this, Melissa, has been the president. This has been a terrible distraction. Bottom line is they've lost their ability to effectively prosecute this case.
Well, except you did mock the FBI. You compared the FBI to the mafia, which is a shocking thing for a Republican to say.
The FBI is behaving like the mafia.
That's point 2.
That's the bottom line. Don't be so shocked, Julian.
Hang on, one at a time, gentlemen. Julian,
Don't be so shocked, Julian. Come on now. You're a big guy.
Patrick, hang on. Go ahead, Julian.
Okay, Patrick, settle down. The Republicans on Capitol Hill are the ones who are saying this is a legitimate investigation. We heard, the Steele dossier was supposed to be this big effort that was going to discredit the investigation. Then we find out that it was the Rubio campaign that started the whole Steele investigation. Then Republicans wanted Steele to be prosecuted by the Department of Justice and referred him for prosecution. Then Democrats released his testimony before the Senate. And then all that went away. Then there was this effort to discredit the deputy director of the FBI, McCabe. And then the Trump-appointed FBI head told the White House to back off on that. So you keep seeing all of these efforts to discredit an investigation.
So you think that this is just a distraction and there's no there to this, Julian? You already know there's no there.
I think there is an Inspector Clouseau quality to this. I think the fact that there was bias, by 2 investigators was a bad thing, but Mueller removed these 2 investigators, and nobody has gone after in a serious way to impugn the credibility of this investigation, which is getting worse.
Okay, we're almost
This
out
is
of
a
time.
criminal
Patrick,
investigation into obstruction of justice of the president.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Julian. That's a good try. But the bottom line here is, even if you believe this investigation might have some credibility, you want it to be done correctly and fairly. This investigation has been compromised, and at the end of the day, you guys are not going to get what you want out of this. Too bad about that, but I'm sorry.
Well, what we want is the truth. What should Mueller have done?
Save it for next time. Save it for next time, gentlemen. Thanks to both of you. John.
Thank you, Melissa. Thanks for having me.
Well, Congress passes a spending bill to keep the government open, but a new deadline is coming fast, and the battle over immigration is heating up. Are the Democrats winning this debate, or did they overplay their hand? We'll discuss it with Larry Sabato. Plus, the suspect who drove a truck into pedestrians on a New York bike path this past Halloween appears before a judge in Manhattan today.
This is a tragedy of the greatest magnitude. This was an act of terror.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Anything you can be, I can be greater. Sooner or later, I'm greater than you.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
When it comes to travel, I sweat the details. Late checkout, down alternative pillows, and of course, price. TripAdvisor helps you book a hotel without breaking a sweat. Because we now instantly search over 200 booking sites to find you the lowest price on the hotel you want. Don't sweat your booking. TripAdvisor, the latest reviews, the lowest prices.
Are you hiring great people?
I get more talented people through the door through Indeed than any other job search that I use.
Indeed delivers 6 times more hires than any other job site. Post a job in minutes, and Indeed will help you zero in on just the right candidates. Plus, there are no upfront costs or long-term contracts.
Nothing has ever been this easy, this simple, and this effective.
Right now, start your first job posting with free premium placement. Search for greatness. Indeed, the world's #1 job site.
Let's begin. Yes or no? Do you want the same tools and seamless experience across web and tablet? Do you want $4.95 commissions for stocks, 50-cent options contracts, $1.50 futures contracts? What about a dedicated service team of trading specialists? Did you say yes? Good. Then it's time for Power E-Trade, the platform, price, and service that gives you the edge you need. Looks like we have a couple of seconds left. Let's do some card twirling. Twirling cards. E-Trade, the original place to invest online.
Wayfair, you got just what I need. It's the feeling of done and done. It's so much fun. Easy as a click, and done comes quick. It can even look crazy. That's fun and done, baby. Get a deal done, or fancy looks fun. Just kick back, relax. With Wayfair, you're done. You know the feeling, yeah, that's the one. It's the feeling of done and done. It's so much fun.
Bring home the feeling at Wayfair.com. What makes these simple dishes the best simple dishes ever? Great tasting, heart-healthy California walnuts. So simple, so good. Get the recipes at walnuts.org.
Now help your immune system when you need it most with a good night's rest from Unisom. New Unisom Sleep Plus Immune Support helps you take control of your sleep cycle. Plus has key nutrients for added immune support so you can feel your best. Unisom Sleep Plus. Take control of your sleep.
New information on the deadly terror attack along a bike path in New York City last Halloween. The man accused of killing 8 pedestrians by driving a rented truck onto the bike path is appearing before a judge today. Lawyers say that Saifulo Saipov are saying that he is willing to plead guilty to the attack if the Justice Department takes the death penalty off the table.
The government shutdown is over with President Trump signing a spending bill last night, but it just sets a new countdown clock in motion. Here's Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton.
I think what we learned is that the American people don't want to have the government shut down for illegal immigration. We're now on the backside of this shutdown, thankfully. But what we've seen is that the Democrats' obsession over amnesty for illegal immigrants simply is not popular. And I think that's significantly strengthened our hand going into these immigration negotiations to have a responsible bill for the DACA population while also controlling for those side effects, building a wall, securing our border, and ending chain migration. The Democrats badly overplayed their hand here.
Joining us now, Dr. Larry Sabato, director of the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia. It's a judgment call I'm asking you for. But what about what Senator Cotton had to say there? Did Democrats overplay their hand in this one?
I'll give you a one-word answer. Yes. And I think privately most of them agree with that.
Really?
For the life of me. Oh, John, for the life of me, I can't see why they went into this. They had no real strategy for once they got into a government shutdown. And I suppose to their credit, they recognized it quickly. The shutdown lasted only one real working day before they caved. Now, they claim to have gotten a deal. We'll see how that works out in 3 weeks. I know we're trained, you and I are trained to be cynical with good reason, given our jobs. But I actually think something might be worked out, at least in the Senate, given Senator McConnell's very public pledge. And I've always found that he does fulfill his pledges if he makes them in that kind of very overt way.
But there are a number of the more liberal Democrats who, by the way, happen to be talked about as presidential contenders in 2020. People like Kamala Harris from California, Cory Booker from New Jersey, Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts. They're all very unhappy. Well, they voted against reopening the government. Why?
Well, they had the best of both worlds, John. They knew very well it was going to pass. I mean, it got over 80 votes in the Senate, and you can't get a Mother's Day resolution to get 80 votes in the Senate anymore. But they were sending a message to the Democratic base that votes in primaries. Hey, I might run for president, and notice I'm with you, because the Democratic base was furious at Chuck Schumer and the other Democrats for, quote, caving, unquote. Look at what they said on Twitter. It was pretty hot.
But didn't Schumer respond essentially to the Democratic base in dialing up this shutdown in the first place?
Well, he did. He was responding to the base. I think Democrats thought they could get Republicans to cave. Why? Because overwhelmingly the American public does support the Dreamers, and you noted that earlier in your show. Second, they figured that President Trump and the Republicans would not want this shutdown to occur on the first-year anniversary of President Trump's presidency. Well, guess what? They didn't care. So it was a miscalculation on the Democrats' part from the word go.
And you know, the idea that voters are going to punish, I don't know, one party or the other come November, the Democrats had to be worried, I guess, that they were getting the black eye in this, because that's why they relented so quickly.
Yeah, if it went on, and it could have. I mean, we've had shutdowns last for a month, and they're a disaster. And generally, the party not in the White House ends up paying. I don't know if that would have been true here. So far, the public opinion was split and even was more critical of Republicans. But who knows how that would have changed. And the Republicans were in a better position to carry forward their point of view than were the Democrats, who are the minority in both houses and don't have the White House.
Interesting times. Larry Sabato, University of Virginia. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
A-10 Thunderbolt jets heading to Afghanistan, why the U.S. military is deploying them now. Plus, Neil Diamond stepping away from the spotlight. The diagnosis that led to him canceling his tour. Next.
Song blue. Everybody knows. Song blue.
Get new floors during Empire Today's gigantic 75% off sale. That's carpet, tile, laminate, and even hardwood, 75% off. Empire makes beautiful new floors easy. See samples in your home, get a free estimate during your appointment, and have your floors professionally installed. Update your floors with Empire and get 75% off carpet, tile, laminate, and hardwood. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
When heartburn hits, fight back fast with Tums Chewy Bites. Fast relief in every bite. Crunchy outside, chewy inside. Tums Chewy Bites.
Experience Lexus Safety System Plus Standard in the 2018 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid.
Lease the 2018 ES 350 for $339 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
The U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, inside the impact on the Mideast and what it could mean for peace negotiations. Palestine's chief negotiator reacts on Fox News at Night.
I'm Dr. Joseph Cranen, a sleep apnea specialist. If you're using a CPAP machine, you could develop a respiratory illness if it's not cleaned properly. That's why I strongly recommend SoClean. SoClean quickly, easily, and effectively kills 99.9% of CPAP germs and bacteria without any harsh chemicals and works on all popular CPAPs.
I don't have to pour products into the SoClean in order for it to do its job. It's incredibly simple to use.
In the morning, I wake up, I take the hose, the mask, plop it into the machine, close the lid, and I'm done.
Try the world's first automated CPAP sanitizer, risk-free for 30 days. Call 800-837-8513.
SoClean gives me the peace of mind in knowing that I'm breathing sanitized air from my CPAP at night.
I don't have to worry about anything growing in the reservoir, the mask, nothing. It's all clean, it's all dry, it's all fresh.
Call now to try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Call 800-837-8513 or visit trysoclean.com.
Just because you're cooking at home doesn't mean you can't travel the globe. Plated is the meal kit for people who love food. So you can explore the world without ever leaving your kitchen. Our diverse menus include 20 globally inspired chef-designed recipes and 2 delicious desserts every week. And our flexible plans fit every table and schedule. Get everything you need to make amazing dinners in one completely customized box. From pre-portioned, high-quality ingredients to easy-to-follow recipe cards, so you can create home-cooked meals that will impress your entire family. Let Plated be your passport to unforgettable dinners every week. Get 25% off your first 4 orders at plated.com/25x4.
Count them, 6 minutes from now, outnumbered, top of the hour, Special Counsel Mueller has conducted his very first known interview with a member of President Trump's cabinet, Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Investigators are grilling him for hours on questions about collusion, obstruction. The White House says it believes this means the investigation is beginning to wrap up. We'll talk about it.
Meantime, the AG vowing to leave no stone unturned to find out what happened. 5 months worth of missing texts between the FBI officials who exchanged anti-Trump text messages. Will this investigation need a special counsel?
We'll break the news on who's outnumbered atop the hour, too. He's sitting next to me. You'll have to wait to find out. See you then.
The Air Force deploying Warthog jets to Afghanistan to aid in the fight against the Taliban. Lucas Tomlinson is at the Pentagon. Lucas, what sparked this decision?
Melissa, the Pentagon wants to copy the success it had against ISIS in Iraq and Syria by deploying these A-10 jets to Afghanistan and move more U.S. troops closer to the front lines to call in airstrikes. Now, the Taliban receives a lion's share of its revenue from narcotics, but already U.S. jets are bombing processing plants similar to what they did against ISIS oil supplies. These 12 A-10s were originally headed for an airbase in Turkey to fight ISIS, but with the air war largely over in Iraq and Syria, military brass decided the jets and more drones were needed at Kandahar Airfield in southern Afghanistan to ramp up the fight against the Taliban. More Air Force Special Ops helicopters have also been deployed for search and rescue. This comes as roughly 1,000 more U.S. troops were deployed this spring to shore up Afghan forces decimated in recent years. The U.S. military dropped more bombs in Afghanistan last year than in 2012, when it had roughly 100,000 troops on the ground. Today, the State Department said multiple Americans were killed and others wounded in last week's rampage at a popular hotel in Kabul frequented by Westerners. Last month, the vice president said the U.S. military would not be leaving anytime soon.
Clearly, after 6 years of a precipitous withdrawal from Afghanistan, our enemies in the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, the Haqqani network, were just planning to wait us out. We're here to stay. We're here to stay until they're defeated, until freedom wins.
The A-10 is most famous for its 30mm Gatling gun, beloved by U.S. ground troops for years, despite its old age. Melissa?
Lucas, thank you.
Well, 5 months of crucial text messages missing. Those messages passed between these two FBI officials. They could be used as evidence of agency bias against President Trump in the Russia investigation. How Attorney General Jeff Sessions is reacting.
I'm Admiral Tom Lynch, Chairman of New Day USA. We hear from veterans all across the country. They worry a lot about being in debt and having the money they need for their families. Big credit card balances can add up over time, and now just making the minimum payments can break the family budget. Sound familiar? New Day USA can help.
Our New Day 100 Home Loan for Veterans lets you refinance your mortgage, consolidate your credit card debt, get cash, and lower your payments an average of $640 a month.
With a New Day 100 loan, New Day will even pay for your appraisal. At New Day USA, we understand veterans. My team will take the time to get to know you and look at your total picture. Refinance and take control of your credit card debt. Call New Day USA and get the financial peace of mind that you and your family deserve.
Go to newdayusa.com or call 1-844-329-1572.
I had tried losing the extra baby weight on my own, and it just was not coming off.
You know, you're just stranded kind of by yourself.
I was making poor decisions on my own. I couldn't do it by myself.
Jenny Craig proves one-on-one support works, and now we've supercharged our program to work faster. Introducing Rapid Results by Jenny Craig, the all-new way to lose up to 16 pounds in just 4 weeks. Jenny Craig always includes the support of your very own weight loss expert.
That is the difference with Jenny Craig. They're there to help you. They're not going to be out there alone.
Lose up to 30% more weight with chef-crafted food you'll love.
They will give you the tools. It becomes second nature.
Get Rapid Results for $16 plus the cost of food, plus $70 in free food and free shipping.
I know what the program has done for me. I want other people to have that.
Start the new Rapid Results for $16 plus the cost of food. Hurry, this offer won't last long.
Hey, Janet.
Hey, Kim.
Can you suggest any good house painters?
Awesome. I'll take quotes from your
Top 4 guys and free background checks and reviews for each of them.
You can't expect your neighbors to do everything HomeAdvisor can. So to find and book a top-rated home pro for free, just ask HomeAdvisor.
This is where life expresses itself as an endless flow of energy. Are you ready? Atlantis. Bahamas at heart.
Book by January 31st for the best winter rates at 1-800-ATLANTIS or atlantisbahamas.com.
My dentist said something interesting. My teeth are like an iceberg. There's a lot going on underneath that I can't see.
New Crest Gum Detoxify works below the gum line to neutralize harmful plaque bacteria and help reverse early gum damage. New Crest Gum Detoxify.
Sunday, on the next edition of Scandalous, the Paula Jones case hits the courtroom, a major shakeup in the investigation, and the shutdown that led to the first infamous White House encounter. All on the next Scandalous, Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox News Channel.
Well, no more touring for one of America's favorite singers. 77-year-old Neil Diamond announced he has Parkinson's disease, makes it hard for him to travel and perform, but he does plan to continue composing and recording. We wish him well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you so much for joining us.
Outnumbered starts right now.
Fox News alert, new developments in the Russia investigation. Justice Department officials confirming to Fox News. Special counsel Robert Mueller's team questioned Attorney General Jeff Sessions for several hours last week. This is Outnumbered. I'm Sandra Smith, and here today, Harris Faulkner, the editor of townhall.com, Katie Pavlich,
former deputy spokesperson for the State Department, Marie Harf. And joining us on the couch today, Republican political strategist and former chief of staff to Senator Mitch McConnell. Josh Holmes is here, and he is outnumbered. A name, your former boss, one that has been in the news a lot lately.
Yeah, he had a good week. So it's Tuesday. He's already had a great week.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a lot to get to, so we're going to begin. Good to have you here, Josh. Welcome. All right. Well, an Attorney General Jeff Sessions, the first member of President Trump's cabinet, known to be interviewed by Mueller's team. Last March, Sessions recused himself in the Russia investigation, and eventually his deputy, Rod Rosenstein, appointed Mueller to oversee the probe. Chief White House correspondent John Roberts joins us live with more. John.
Sandra, good afternoon to you. Good noon hour to everybody out there. This is the highest ranking member of the Trump administration who has been interviewed by the special counsel's office so far. For the most part, it's all been staff, current and former, but this now takes it up to the cabinet level. We're told that the interview took place sometime within the last week to 10 days, lasted several hours. Among the topics that Robert Mueller would have been interested in investigating, clearly, that whether or not there was collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia during the election. And you remember Jeff Sessions was one of then candidate Donald Trump's closest advisors. And then the other thing that Mueller's looking into is whether or not there was obstruction of justice in the firing of the former FBI director James Comey. White House officials will not weigh in on the substance of the interview, though a short time ago on Fox News, Raj Shah, the principal deputy press secretary, said that he believes that the Mueller investigation will soon wrap up and there will be no finding of any wrongdoing between the Trump campaign and Russia in terms of colluding to influence the American election. Listen here.
The White House's view is that it will be wrapping up in short order. We want it to be done thoroughly and above board, but we have confidence that the special counsel, again, is going to find what we've known all along. There's been no collusion and no findings of wrongdoing.
Now, for his part, Attorney General Jeff Sessions says that he is vowing to get to the bottom of why there are 6 months worth of missing text messages, numbering potentially as many as 50,000 that went between Peter Strzok, who was one of Mueller's chief investigators, and a woman that he was having an affair with, Lisa Page, who was an attorney at the FBI. These came to light as part of an Inspector General's report that the IG of the Department of Justice, Michael Horowitz, is putting together on all of this. That Horowitz report, I'm told, may be coming out sometime in the next few weeks, maybe a couple of months, and that when it finally lands, sources close to the investigation say it is going to have, they believe, a significant impact, because this will speak right to the heart of some of the people who were involved in that Mueller investigation. Sources close to the investigation also believe that the Devin Nunes 4-page memo, which may be released, sources say, sometime within the next couple of weeks, will have a significant impact as well. But all of this as well, particularly the Horowitz investigation, Sandra, having an impact on the special counsel's office, in that sources close to the investigation believe it may delay the wrap-up of the Mueller investigation. They were hopeful that he might be done by the end of this month, but the investigation continues, and nobody is quite sure when it will end. Sandra?
Just changing by the hour. John Roberts, thanks for all the updates on that and your reporting. And Josh, I go to you on this. This is big news. This is the first member of the president's cabinet to be interviewed by Robert Mueller. Several hours it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's significant, but I think it was inevitable, right? Mm-hmm. Both because of Attorney General's role as Attorney General and with the dismissal of Comey, but also his role on the campaign. And so, you know, clearly he was a key figure that the Mueller team needed to speak to. I think, you know, this is not out of the ordinary in any form or fashion. And honestly, I think Raj Shah probably said it best from the White House's perspective. I think this is an indication that they're getting to the end of this investigation.
Really? Do you see it that way, Marie?
Well, there are some key things that have to happen first, though. And we've talked about the fact that President Trump very well may have to be interviewed by Bob Mueller. Until that happens, this is not wrapping up, I think. So we'll see. There are other key officials who have not been spoken to yet. I think Vice President Pence will probably have to as well. This will go on for many months. I think at this point, these things take time. Jeff Sessions is at the middle of a lot of this. And as we all have talked about when he went before Congress several times now, he has misremembered some things. He's had to clarify some statements about conversations with Russians. So it is not at all surprising that Bob Mueller would have had hours and hours of questions for Jeff Sessions, given his role, given what he said publicly about this.
But the entire reason why there's been a lot of controversy surrounding Jeff Sessions' recusal of himself from the Russia investigation. He's been heavily criticized by the president for doing so. The entire reason why he did that is precisely because of this. He did not believe he could be in charge of a Russia investigation and also be a witness at the same time. So it's important to point that out. In terms of when this is going to be over, we don't know. I mean, 6 months ago, the White House was saying that it's almost over, it's wrapping up. I think that's probably their way of trying to say we want it to wrap up soon. But none of us actually know who they're still going to interview, what exactly is going to happen, what charges may or may not be filed. We just don't know.
I spoke with Mercedes Schlapp earlier, strategic communications for the White House, and she didn't seem to hint that it was at the end she could only respond that they're fully cooperating and continuing on with the investigation.
Yeah, if the White House is playing its cards the way it has been, and so far it's been a neutral deck, which is where they want to be. They don't want to make news on what they think.
No, that's right.
They really don't want to jump the shark on this. And Mueller is helping them out by digging deeper and talking with people, because if it takes forever to get to the bottom of this, it only hurts the White House, no matter what the end game is, because you want to be able to focus on different things.
Yeah, look, I think clearly in any investigation, you don't start with the big fish, right? You probably wait for the Attorney General and the President of the United States until you get towards the end of it. So I think, look, we don't know. I think you're right. We don't know exactly when it all wraps up. But I do think it's probably an encouraging sign that they're now into the big fish, right? Jeff Sessions is clearly a central player in a lot of these. And if they can answer those questions, they probably are.
Yeah, a big fish, though, a big fish who recused himself, though, can be complicated, because the president was not happy about that.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that if he was avoiding things to get to this point, how did he know he was going in this way? How did he suddenly, I mean, only the person who knew all of the facts would know that those facts would collide with the investigation.
Well, Jeff Sessions would argue, at least the Justice Department would argue, that he knew as soon as this investigation, or the Russia, the surrounding investigations in Congress that came before the special counsel, the specific questions were about the campaign. And he was one of the very first senators to jump onto the Trump campaign. So inevitably, all of the questions surrounding the campaign, he would have to answer. And being in that position, legally, ethically, he believed that he had to recuse himself and couldn't be a witness in the case.
If he hadn't had a collusion, though, of his memory and what happened with meetings, so on and so forth, in that very first hearing, how could he have even known where we would be today? That's the unfortunate part. That's the part that I believe probably chides the White House and the president, as they've said. They're not happy about the fact that he had to do that recusal.
Well, and that was his own doing. I mean, you're right, Harris. I remember, there wasn't a big push for recusal until it came out that he had not remembered fully when he testified before Congress. But the special counsel is basically looking at two things. One is whether there was collusion with Russia, and one is whether there was obstruction of justice in firing Jim Comey. Sessions is really at the center of both of those, and he's unique in that because he was part of the campaign and part of the decision-making when they got rid of Comey.
You know what's ironic, though?
It's interesting.
Look at the situation where Mueller is with his employees around him having, and I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later, having, oh, goodness gracious, what did I do with those thousands of text messages?
I can't remember where I put them.
The same thing that you were maybe accusing, back in the day of the secret server with Hillary Clinton. I mean, it's very troubling for Mueller right now. He's in kind of an awkward position. So it's interesting to see that juxtaposed with, the AG now going to talk with him. It's just an observation.
The way that the questions were asked during the hearings with Jeff Sessions, he was accused of meeting with the Russian ambassador. When we dug a little deeper, we found out he actually was meeting with multiple people at an event at the RNC convention. It doesn't count as a private meeting. And so the way the questions
But you should have said that then.
But the questions were framed as, did you meet with so-and-so? And he said no. And then it was framed in the narrative as, well, you did meet with him because you happened to have a quick conversation with him at a random RNC convention meeting. And so the definition of what exactly the meeting was has been changed multiple times.
There was more than one meeting. There was one before President Trump's foreign policy speech that he gave in Washington. There was one which was private. There was one at the RNC, and there were other conversations. So again,
what does it have to do with collusion?
Well, but then
I don't know, but you have to answer the question correctly when they ask you.
Exactly, you have to answer the question.
It may have nothing to do with collusion. And so far the evidence shows that it has nothing to do with collusion. But when somebody asks you, you do have to answer.
But if you ask the question, did you meet with him privately versus versus did you meet him at all? I mean, I've met with multiple people in a group setting that I maybe wouldn't remember. If you're asking specifically about a meeting with the Russian ambassador, then that's different.
Josh, one last word to you.
Well, look, I think all of this, the fact that we don't have this all even sorted out on the couch probably is uncomfortable as it is. I think Jeff Sessions made the right decision to recuse himself in here.
Yeah,
and I think he's probably in a position today to clear this all up and actually for the betterment of the Trump administration as a result of it.
All right, you do get final word on that. And by the way, did you know the shutdown is over? Well, now that it is, there is growing liberal backlash against Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, whether he should have held out for a better deal, or was ending the shutdown more important than appeasing progressives? And House Republicans are hoping a memo allegedly containing what some call jaw-dropping revelations about government surveillance abuses will soon be made public. Whether we'll see it and whether Americans will be as shocked as lawmakers say they will be.
This program is brought to you by Lear Capital.
Is your retirement invested in the stock market? In our world of fake news, here's what they're not telling you. Gold has outperformed the Dow for the past 17 years. That's the real news. Numbers don't lie. In the year 2000, if you invested $100,000 in the Dow, it would be worth about $197,000 today. But had you diversified just 20% of that into gold, your investment would be worth $248,000, 26% more. Call Lear Capital, rated #1 by Consumer Affairs. Lear is your 5-star leader in precious metals IRAs. Get your free precious metals IRA guide. See how diversifying just a portion of your IRA into gold can help protect and grow your wealth. First-time investors, find out how you can get a $2,000 IRA bonus. Don't wait. Call 800-885-1700. 800-885-1700. Call now.
You might take something for your heart or joints, but do you take something for your brain? With an ingredient originally found in jellyfish, Prevagen is the #1 selling brain health supplement in drugstores nationwide. Prevagen, the name to remember.
This is a ClassAction.com alert. The shingles vaccine Zostavax is supposed to prevent shingles, but may actually cause shingles and other injuries, including vision problems, hearing loss, stroke, pneumonia, and more, even death. If you received the Zostavax vaccine and were diagnosed with shingles or suffered injuries as a result, you may be eligible to claim compensation for medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Call the number on your screen or visit ClassAction.com. ClassAction.com. Information, protection, justice.
In 3 days, see the film critics are calling stunning, magnificent, beautiful, astounding. Don't miss Hostels. Rated R. Now playing select cities everywhere Friday.
For over 200 years, the stock market has been going up and down like a roller coaster. And it seems like everybody's giving you advice on what you should do with your retirement money. But most people just want to earn a reasonable rate of return and keep it simple. Is that what you want? Get your investor's kit and learn how to never lose money when the market goes down and earn a reasonable rate of return. And on the DVD, I'll personally explain how it works. You decide if it's right for you.
Call 800-557-7379 or tyjyoung.net.
Hi, I'm Joan Lennon with A Place for Mom. Every day we hear from families who partnered with a senior living advisor from A Place for Mom to help find the perfect place for their mom or dad.
Thank you so much for your assistance in helping us find a place. Mom feels safe and comfortable and has met many wonderful residents and staffers.
Thank you for helping our family find our father a new home. We especially appreciate the information about the VA Aid and Attendance Program.
I feel I found the right place, a perfect fit. You were my angel and helped guide me every step of the way. Thank you.
The senior living advisors at A Place for Mom partner with thousands of families every month, listening and offering local knowledge and advice to help find the best senior living communities across the country. And it won't cost you a cent. This is a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family. We know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Fox News alert on what could be a growing divide in the Democratic Party now that the government shutdown is over. President Trump last night signed the temporary spending bill into law after Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell reached a deal. Now Schumer is coming under fire. Progressives say he caved to protect vulnerable Democrats up for re-election in red states. They say the deal he made does not guarantee any protections for Dreamers, those immigrants who came here illegally as children. Senator Dianne Feinstein says this, quote, "It's a great disappointment to me, and it's a great disappointment to more than 300,000 DACA young people in the state of California. The strategy was to keep it fixed to a must-pass vehicle because there was great worry that the House was not going to pass it. I'm just very disappointed." Some are reportedly threatening primary challenges. One activist telling the New York Times this: "The grassroots are rightly furious with a slew of elected Democrats. In the Obama years, Republicans learned to be more afraid of primary challenges than general elections. But Democrats are still operating as though the Tea Party is more powerful than the resistance," end quote. More moderate Democrats are defending Schumer, including Senator Claire McCaskill of Missouri. Watch.
I understand what the leadership did. I respect it. And I do think we got a result, and that is the promises that have been made. And by the way, as has been said earlier on your show today, what happened here was the trust of the Republicans that were part of this deal, not the trust of Mitch McConnell. So to all the progressives that say, why would you trust Mitch McConnell? We didn't. We trusted the 12 Republicans that could make his life miserable.
Meanwhile, Josh, you're laughing. I'm not done yet. There might be more. President Trump tweeted, "Big win for Republicans as Democrats cave on shutdown. Now I want a big win for everyone, including Republicans, Democrats, and DACA, but especially for our great military and border security. Should be able to get there. See you at the negotiating table!" Exclamation point. Excitement. I think that's what that conveys. Josh?
You're dying over there.
Yeah, well, there's no greater defender than Chuck Schumer than Claire McCaskill, and she's done it again. Look, I think Chuck Schumer got a real lesson in legislative politics in real time, and it frankly played out in kind of an embarrassing fashion. The way that he went into this is they were very responsive to a liberal base that wanted him to shut down the government, and once he got to the precipice of doing that, he couldn't turn back. And once he couldn't turn back, he got over the ledge, and all of your negotiating power goes away, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that discussion was about whether or not it was appropriate to take away the government services for all of the Americans across the country, defense, children's health care, you name it, in order to deal with an issue of illegal immigration that dealt with people who would like to become Americans, right? So what is our government for?
Not just that they would like to become Americans, though, Katie, because this issue is more about the illegality of things, too. Right. I mean, that's a hard argument to make in the midst of a shutdown. You can make it across the aisle, and that's what they say they can do in a bipartisan manner outside of that.
Yeah, I mean, Dianne Feinstein argues that they attached it to this, so it would be a must pass. But again, Democrats are completely out of touch with the American people on how to get this done in a legitimate, legal way. The majority of Americans, according to a Harvard poll yesterday, say, look, we want DACA to pass. We think that those people should be able to stay, but we do not believe you should shut down the government in favor of people who were brought here illegally. It's pretty fair and simple. And my concern, and I think a lot of people feel this way, is we only have a few days before we could go through all of this again. And what does that show about the chaos surrounding these kinds of issues? They want it done by, what, February 8th?
Yeah.
And yet, again, it doesn't expire until March. And Democrats have to figure out where the goalposts are here. Are we just talking about DACA? We heard from the Homeland Security Secretary during testimony last week that there has been an increase in the last 3 months, as DACA talk has gone on, of unaccompanied minors and their parents coming across the border. Do they get to stay too?
Yeah.
Do they get to stay? They're brought here illegally by their parents. Does that count?
I think Republicans also have to decide where the goalposts are, because I give Mitch McConnell a lot of credit. He gave Democrats something that was important to us by making that commitment to have this discussion. The problem, I think, now is House Republicans, who have been very clear in saying we don't care what the Republicans in the Senate do. So the Republican Party and the White House need to get on the same page. But what I would say to progressives who are mad at Chuck Schumer, guys, elections have consequences. We're not in the majority. As much as you wish in some fantasy land we could control things and force DACA through a shutdown, that is not how governing works. And if you're going to go vote for someone else, who are you going to look for to better defend you?
That's a great question,
to better defend you.
Possibly one you could answer.
Well, I would make the argument that to progressives that there are two parties who run in elections, and the only party, I would argue, who has made DACA a priority is Democrats. And you may be mad at Chuck Schumer, but unfortunately, governing is much harder than carrying signs and protesting.
So welcome to the wonderful world of primary politics.
I know.
This is where Democrats are going.
But we all hate. But actually,
dim on dim crime.
It's. I actually think this is a momentary blip. I actually don't think you're going to see a lot of primaries before 2018. The midterms, it's almost too late for that.
Would you have wanted to see Chuck Schumer hold out for more?
On Friday, I think on this show said if we get an explicit commitment from Mitch McConnell to take up DACA, then we should not shut the government down. I think Chuck Schumer made the right decision.
That's pretty much what they had on Friday. And so my question, Josh, is did we have to see a government shutdown to get what Chuck Schumer just got?
No. I mean, everything was, we were on this path. This was what was happening. They were currently negotiating.
The president had met with him on Friday?
Absolutely. All of this was happening. They decided to throw the government into
So why go there?
Well, you'll have to ask them. I don't think it turned out the way they wanted it to.
Wanted it.
Interesting. All right, we'll move on. Republicans sounding off on the anti-Trump FBI agent who once worked on the Mueller investigation. What we are learning about the eye-popping number of text messages he exchanged with that other agent. Trey Gowdy has called her a paramour. Plus, the explosive memo making the rounds on Capitol Hill said to show the Obama administration spied on the Trump campaign. The shocking allegations leaving some lawmakers nearly speechless.
Termination would be the least of these people's worries once they get to see the documents.
All right, I brought in high protein to help get us moving and help you feel more strength and energy in just 2 weeks. I'll take that.
Ensure high protein with 16 grams of protein and 4 grams of sugar. Ensure, always be you.
The time to invest in silver is now. Silver prices are already undervalued. With mine production expected to fall, silver is poised to skyrocket in the coming years. Are you ready to take advantage of this opportunity? Silver is a natural hedge against inflation and can help counteract painful market corrections. The potential to profit from silver in both good times and bad makes it a superior investment to own both inside and outside of an IRA. To learn how you can protect your financial future with silver, call Augusta Precious Metals today and request your free guide, 6 Secrets of Silver Investing, and discover how you can get up to $2,000 in silver free. Act now, and you'll also receive Augusta's Guide to Silver IRAs. Call 866-400-3200 today to receive your free guides from Augusta Precious Metals, where gold and silver have been the family business for more than 40 years. Call Augusta now.
Peeling hard-boiled eggs is such a hassle. It takes forever and makes such a mess. Now make hard-boiled eggs the fast and easy way. Introducing Egglets, the new silicone sensation that lets you cook hard-boiled eggs without the shell. Just crack open the egg into the Egglets pod, twist on the top, and boil on your stovetop. In minutes, pop them out of the pod for perfect hard-boiled eggs. No hassle, no mess. The secret is the thermodynamic non-stick silicone material that allows the egg to cook just like it would inside the shell. No broken egg whites and no peeling. Now that's appealing. Make delicious deviled eggs, tasty egg salad. Make a mouth-watering chef salad without ever peeling an egg. Crack, boil, and pop with Egglets for perfect hard-boiled eggs every time. And Egglets is great for soft-boiled eggs too. Add cheese, onions, mushrooms, peppers, all your favorite vegetables for delicious omelets. Make an egg white omelet or use egg substitutes for healthy cholesterol-free food. Create fun-filled breakfast the little ones will love. Make Egglets in advance and store in the fridge. Ideal for breakfast on the go or a power-packed snack. Easy to clean, dishwasher-safe Egglets. Don't waste your time picking and peeling hard-boiled shells. Now just crack, boil, and pop with Egglets for perfect hard-boiled eggs without the hassle. Get your trio of Egglets for just $14.99. But wait, call now and we'll double your offer and give you 3 more Egglets absolutely free. With your order, you'll get the Egglets recipe guide. That's 6 Egglets and the recipe guide for only $14.99. And in this exclusive TV offer, you'll get the microwave egg cooker to make on-the-go egg muffins in just minutes. You get it all for $14.99. So don't wait. Order today.
To order your Egglets, call 1-800-713-6135. That's 1-800-713-6135. Or you can visit online at getegglets.com. That's getegglets.com. Don't delay. Call or click today.
Hey, Janet. Hey, Kim.
Can you suggest any good house painters?
Awesome. I'll take quotes from your
Top 4 guys and free background checks and reviews for each of them.
You can't expect your neighbors to do everything HomeAdvisor can, so to find and book a top-rated home pro for free, just ask HomeAdvisor.
Patrick woke up with a sore back, but he's got work to do. So he took a leave this morning. If he'd taken Tylenol, he'd be stopping for more pills right now. Only Aleve has the strength to stop tough pain for up to 12 hours with just one pill. Tylenol can't do that. Aleve, all day strong, all day long. And for pain relief and a good night's rest, try Aleve PM for a better aim.
Well, the Justice Department investigating after the revelation that the FBI, quote, failed to preserve 5 months of text messages between those two Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. The missing messages span a crucial window between the presidential transition and the launch of Robert Mueller's Russia probe. Attorney General Jeff Sessions saying, quote, we will leave no stone unturned to confirm with certainty why these text messages are now not available to be produced, and will use every technology available to determine whether the missing messages are recoverable from another source. If any wrongdoing were to have been found to have caused this gap, appropriate legal disciplinary action measures will be taken. House Oversight Committee Chairman Trey Gowdy weighing in earlier today.
We're missing 5 months worth of text, so God only knows what else was said. Yeah, that's a really important time period. Sessions has recused himself. Bob Mueller is coming on board. I happen to like him. I respect him. I think he's going to do a good job. But if he's picking guys like Peter Strzok and Lisa Page to be on his team, and they're only interested in being on the team if they can, quote, get the president, they have no interest in clearing him, then he had some hiring failures of epic proportion.
In one message Strzok sent Page back in May 2017, the FBI agent debates whether he should join special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia probe, saying in it, quote, you and I both know the odds are nothing. If I thought it was likely, I'd be there, no question. I hesitate in part because of my gut sense and concerned there's no big there. Some believe he is talking about evidence of collusion, of course. And to Trey Gowdy's point, Josh, who knows what else is in those text messages that can't be found?
No, I know. You know, I was always taught that anything you do on the internet is automatically preserved forever.
It is.
And everybody can see it. But, you know, there's an exception in the rule when it comes to high-ranking liberal officials. Yeah. Because in this case, and then if you think back, obviously the Hillary Clinton email case and the IRS investigation, all of these emails went missing. I mean, they've got a secret here the rest of us need to get in on, because I don't know how the heck.
And as the president points out, this is during that crucial period making this potentially huge news, Marie.
And potentially not huge news. We'll see, right? I think.
Does that concern you that these text messages are missing?
Honestly, of all the things that concern me, this is not in like the top 20 of what's happening in the world today and in our country. I've always said we need to hear from these two individuals because there's been so much speculation about what their text messages meant. And if anyone read our text messages, who knows what people would think, right?
Can I suggest why they might not want that? Because one of them is married.
Well,
no, I'm talking really honestly here. It gets complicated, but if there were 50,000 of these that are missing,
no, 50,000 is the total number the FBI looked at. We don't know how many are missing.
Oh, so there might be more.
50,000. I've been married almost 15 years. I would be pressed to know, well, texting hasn't been around as popular as it is now my entire marriage, but that's a lot of messages between two people that some of them were work-related, anti-Trump.
Sure.
We could easily look away from those. We want the important ones.
Right. Why are we paying these people to sit and text 100 times a day to each other?
It's an excellent question.
I mean, we're paying their salaries, we're paying their paid vacation, we're paying them by the yearly salary to be doing that. The second thing is, I find it amazing that liberals are now stuck on this idea because they don't have any evidence of collusion. So now they're going to, well, it's all about obstruction of justice, but 50,000 emails in a case, a criminal case, surrounding a criminal case, and a special counsel about whether the President of the United States was colluding with Russians. Now, all of a sudden, the 50,000 emails or text messages that are gone don't really matter much when it comes to obstruction of justice.
I'm not saying they don't matter much. I'm just saying that I think what is happening on the right is that people are taking huge leaps of assumption about things that they don't have evidence for.
There's a few too many coincidences for us to just look the other way on this.
But
one,
let me just finish, though, that I think the right has put so much power in the hands of these two people and forgotten the fact that they
were high-ranking FBI officials assigned to the Mueller
and
probe.
so are many high-ranking FBI officials who work on the Mueller investigation who like President Trump.
I think they should be charged with
with the fact that anything goes missing at the FBI and they can't find it for an investigation. Let's just pretend like it's not even this case. I mean, it's the FBI.
Well, it seems impossible, right? But I mean, look.
You know, federal government's not impossible.
Right.
But this is the FBI. They're supposed to be good at finding stuff.
To your point we've put too much faith and trust that these two were kind of all powerful. Well, look, liberals would have you believe that this George Papadopoulos guy, who nobody's ever heard of and definitely had no power within the construct of a campaign, somehow constructed this elaborate scheme to collude with the Russian government and elect Donald Trump president. If you want to start about weird schemes and bizarre kind of witch hunts, it doesn't get any better than that.
Well, can you imagine anybody who's being investigated by the special counsel or the FBI saying, sorry, I lost 50,000 of my text messages from the period of time that you need for your criminal investigation?
Why do they need them?
Because they are referring to, on company time, on government taxpayer time, taking out a presidential candidate in a way of a secret society or meeting in the offices of the FBI to talk about an insurance policy just in case the president wins, making sure that Hillary Clinton maybe doesn't face charges. Loretta Lynch knew about the fact that she wasn't going to face charges when she met with Bill Clinton on that tarmac in secret and then got caught. These things actually matter because it's about corruption. A lot of people want to say that the federal government is just incompetent. The first thing I think of is corruption, and this is just another example of that.
And we wouldn't be talking about it if they didn't have really senior positions in both investigations, right? So, I mean,
my point has always been, I've never defended their behavior or what they said. My point is always to say they had bad behavior, and then because of that, the Mueller investigation is total crap, or what the FBI decided on. I'm just saying, like, to take that big leap, I think is unfair.
You said why these particular text messages, and I know you guys.
We don't know what's in them.
We talked about it. It's not 50,000 that are missing, but there's some in that realm.
Right.
It has to do with the timing that Sandra was pointing to. The timing of these conversations. They're looking for bias inside the FBI. That's what it has to do with as well, probably quite significantly.
Well,
maybe. We don't know.
And not
Is that just a coincidence, do you really think? Because it's that crucial time period between the transition. And
honestly, I think the federal government does things all the time that look like, on the outside, like maybe there's some big conspiracy, and it's just incompetence.
And then we find out later that it was actually a deliberate deletion.
Or maybe it isn't.
I mean, we don't know.
Katie.
They are calling the revelations
putting that conspiracy theory out
House
there.
Republicans hopeful that a memo they say shows the Obama White House spied on the Trump campaign will soon be public. Dave Joyce, a Republican from Ohio, says the Intelligence Committee plans to work on releasing the 4-page document, but warns that once Americans see it, they'll be surprised how bad it is.
I read it twice just to make sure I read it properly, and it was deeply disturbing, as anybody who's been in law enforcement and any American will find out once they have the opportunity to review it. Termination would be the least of these people's worries once they get to see the documents.
Sources telling Fox News that Republicans Bob Goodlatte, Devin Nunes, and Trey Gowdy are moving ahead as quickly as they can to get the memo into the public domain. And according to sources, Republican House Intel leaders have so far denied the FBI access to the memo, citing concerns the Bureau has not been an honest broker in sharing information. Adam Schiff, ranking Democrat in the House Intelligence Committee, slamming the memo, saying it is, quote, rife with factual inaccuracies and referencing highly classified materials that most Republican Intelligence Committee members were forced to acknowledge they had never read. This is meant only to give Republican House members a distorted view of the FBI. This may help carry White House water, but is a deep disservice to our law enforcement professionals. Josh, yeah, they've sure made a big deal out of this memo. It seems like they have to deliver at this point.
Yeah, they definitely have to. We have to see the contents of this memo. Let me just preface it by that. But let me just say something that's going to irritate some of my conservative friends. I'm deeply disturbed by the classification of any classified information in any form whatsoever. I think perhaps the congressman felt as though the only way they could get this information out would be to go public. And if that's the case, I understand it. What troubles me is having this public discourse where congressmen by the hundreds are going out and reviewing something that the rest of the American public cannot, and then providing a take that formulates a view of what this actually says without anybody actually having the ability to fact check that.
Right.
And it's classified. And now we're in a situation, I think, where we have to declassify, have to get it out there. And I don't know what's in that
Are you have any unmasking concerns here?
Oh, I have concerns about all of it.
You know what? You know what? A pox on both their houses. Because see, Rand Paul tried to get everybody to understand where we were with the collection of this information. And if Americans get scooped up in this was a conversation that we could have had 2 weeks ago and maybe made our road forward a lot smoother in terms of not being able to harm Americans, damage them. You're right. We don't know what's in it. But it's interesting to have this conversation after the FISA Section 702 was just renewed.
But I also think there should be a bipartisan way to look at FISA, to look at the unmasking process, which has been around for a long time. Both administrations of both parties have used it. I actually think there's a way to look at this issue and maybe make some reforms. But Devin Nunes and
you just need warrants. We could have done it less than 2 weeks ago.
Okay, wait, but let me just finish what I was going to say. Trey Gowdy and Devin Nunes writing this in secret, using very highly classified material. Josh is right. Then talking about it. I'm not sure this can all actually be declassified and keep sources and methods safe. So I think there's a way to do it. Devin Nunes trying to, cherry pick information, not bring in Democrats who care about this, not bring in people like Rand Paul. That does do a disservice to the conversation.
But Sandra, what about that? Because if Republicans are going to be using this and taking highly classified information and making it public on behalf of the American people, as they say, but they're still going to pass through FISA without any reforms, isn't this going to prompt calls for reforms? And is that something that's going to be on the agenda?
So go from classified to jaw-dropping, which is being used to describe this, what we would potentially see. I would have to know, and I think everybody else would have to know, is it actually going to be the jaw-dropping information and revelations that everyone's expecting at this point?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question. And honestly, we don't even know with respect to 702 whether or not this is something that is significant in terms of its application for this collection.
If there will be anybody caught up on this, and if there is any unmasking. We don't know.
We don't know. 702 is an important program. It has kept us safe for a whole lot of years. And so even that, I don't want to jump to the conclusion that we're somehow in a situation where people are misusing it, because we just don't know. But unfortunately, now we're in a situation where we have to know.
Yeah. Well, and if warrants are issued, we won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. All right. Well, all eyes on immigration reform as Democrats demand protections for the Dreamers by the new February 8th spending bill deadline. How much will each side give and take? Who has the upper hand? And could we end up right back where we started?
Hi, I'm William Devane. And these days we take a lot for granted. Used to be just having wood for the fire and a little food for your table was all you needed to feel secure. Not anymore. Now rising debt is chopping away at the value of our dollar, like this. And that troubles me, which is why I buy gold as often as I can. I buy my gold from Roslyn Capital because I trust them. Roslyn has the fastest shipping and the best customer service around. With all the money printed by shaky governments, protecting my purchasing power against the rising threat of inflation is more critical now than ever. Protect what you've worked hard for. Buy gold from Roslyn Capital.
Call now and get your free Roslyn Capital Gold Kit, Silver Kit, and free IRA Transfer Kit. Call 800-630-8900, 800-630-8900, 800-630-8900.
It was getting to be a struggle to get in and out of the tub.
Yeah, we were really worried about falling.
And we needed a solution to stay safe in our own home.
So we got an American Standard walk-in bath.
American Standard is celebrating over 140 years in business with our best offer on our Liberation walk-in baths.
They have a lifetime warranty on the bath, the installation, including the labor. I've never heard of that before.
American Standard has the only walk-in bath with over 20 comfort and safety features, including an ultra-low entryway. 44 massaging jets to help relieve aches and pains, and our patented quick drain technology, which drains your bath in less than 2 minutes. Other brands can leave you sitting in the cold. So call now for your free information kit. For a limited time, get $1,500 in savings, including a free American Standard right height toilet.
Don't delay. Call 1-800-425-8414 for your free information kit and $1,500 in savings, including a free toilet. That's 1-800-425-8414.
It's time to drop all those unhealthy pounds that have been weighing you down.
I'm Michelle, and I dropped 41 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Introducing new for 2018, Turbo 13, our best program ever. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month. Lose weight fast, money back guaranteed.
I'm Marie, and I dropped 50 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Order your 28-day plan right now, and we'll rush you Turbo 13 with specially designed meals. Plus 1 week of all new NutriCurb bars to curb cravings free. 1 week of Turbo shakes to help shrink your belly free. And 1 week of all new Turbo boosters to rev your metabolism free.
79 pounds down.
Call or go online in the next 2 minutes, and we'll even throw in FedEx shipping free. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month.
If I can do it, you can do it. Join me in the millions of people who have lost weight with Nutrisystem.
Go online or call 888-652-SIZE right now and get Turbo 13 with bars, shakes, and turbo boosters free.
I wanted to know who I am and where I came from. I did my Ancestry DNA, and I couldn't wait to get my pie chart. The most shocking result was that I'm 26% Native American. I had no idea. Just to know this is what I'm made of, this is where my ancestors came from, and I absolutely want to know more about my Native American heritage. It's opened up a whole new world for me.
Discover the story only your DNA can tell. Order your kit now at AncestryDNA.com.
New Olay Whips. Powerful skincare. Now light as air. A breakthrough moisturizer. Delightfully whipped for instant absorption. Feel a light as air finish in a flash. New Olay Whips. Ageless.
All eyes on immigration reform after Democrats voted to pass yet another stopgap spending bill yesterday to fund the government through February 8th. The move came after Republicans said the Senate would negotiate a Dreamers deal as long as the government was reopened. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal says he's hopeful Republicans will keep that promise.
The promise made by the majority leader is very important. And the principle that was established that we believe that the Dreamers deserve this protection, I think, highlighted it for the whole nation. Opening the government was a common goal, and we have common goals now going forward of holding the majority leader accountable. He must keep his promise that was made on the floor of the Senate in everybody's view several times, and that provides a basis for going forward.
Yeah. Some Democrats, though, were more critical of the decision to trust Republicans and end the shutdown without protections for Dreamers. He just said that they were talking about putting that in place. Senator Kamala Harris, who opposed the stopgap bill, says of Majority Leader McConnell, quote, "I don't believe he made any commitment whatsoever, and I think it would be foolhardy to believe that he made a commitment," end quote. Meanwhile, President Trump tweeted this: "Nobody knows for sure that the Republicans and Democrats will be able to reach a deal on DACA by Feb 8th, but everyone will be trying, with a big additional focus put on military strength and border security. The Dems have just learned that a shutdown is not the answer." And then this is making news now, Josh. So talk about your broken promises. I don't know. Does this fit in that category? Senator Chuck Schumer now says that he is taking his spending boost for the president's border wall off the table. The Senate Minority Leader, through an aide, has informed the White House that he was retracting the offer he made last week to give the president well north of the $1.6 billion in wall funding that previously was promised.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think by all published...
I'm reclaiming my money for the wall, basically.
Yeah, you know, what he did there was sort of a bait and switch anyway. What he offered was an authorization, not an appropriation. An authorization, in fact, that has existed lasted since 2006 when Chuck Schumer himself, along with Senate Democrats and a bipartisan group of Republicans, voted to put the wall
so what is he
authorization
withdrawing
in the first place. Well, that's the whole point, right? This has all been kind of a bait and switch type effort from the very beginning. And I think there is a common goal. The common goal is I think there is a broad bipartisan view that we should do something about the DACA situation. But there is also Republican priorities dealing with chain migration, the family-based, merit-based system, and border security, namely the wall. Those three things are not unreasonable. In fact, everyone cites poll numbers about DACA. Nobody cites poll numbers about those three things. Together, they make a heck of a deal, and I don't understand why Chuck Schumer and everybody else can't get to the
So you're
table with
saying that there wasn't an actual $1.6 billion on the table. There was some talk, like right around there, remember Chuck Schumer was on the floor. And he was talking about this issue, that there might even be more money. What happened, Marie?
Well, both sides, I mean, Donald Trump also put a bunch of things on the table and then decided they weren't good enough for him. So both sides here are doing a little bait and switch. That's how this often works in Washington. I actually have a little more faith that the Senate can get to something like you're talking about. I think the senators on both sides of the aisle have made clear that they are negotiating in good faith. What I have much less faith in is the House. And, we heard House Republicans say even this morning that they're not even going to look at what the Senate does and said on the record their base won't support it. So maybe there's a scenario where you can get
honestly say that they're negotiating in good faith, Katie.
Yes, I can.
Lindsey Graham and Dick Durbin showed up at the White House with this apparent deal for the president that didn't look anything like they discussed at that lovely bipartisan.
It actually looked a lot like what they discussed.
Actually,
it looked a lot like what they discussed. I think you could get a bill that passes the Senate in the House, Katie, where you lose like the Freedom Caucus, but you get Democrats.
Yesterday, Chuck Schumer, as soon as he was announcing that he was reopening the government, he tweeted out a warning to Republicans and said, you have 17 days to come up with a DACA fix. Democrats, by tying DACA again to the spending bill, have put DACA into a position where it's going to fail because it is being treated as an add-on and not as a serious issue as it should be. And Democrats are doing it for political reasons because they will never allow a Republican to take credit for the amnesty that will come with DACA because they are the ones who want credit for it. When the president asks for things like chain migration to be ended, he's doing it for good reason. We've had a number of terrorists in this country who have killed American citizens on our soil who have come here as a result of chain migration or the diversity visa lottery program. He's putting national security on the table in exchange for something that everybody supports, and they have to be able to get to it. But Democrats, because of the timeline that they've set up, are setting it up to fail, as they did the first time around.
So interesting. I know we will revisit this topic many times, at least over the next 17 days. By the way, they don't have that many legislative days left. They've only got like 6.
So good luck.
So it
Work
whittles
harder.
down even more.
Congress,
But they
do your
could
job.
choose to work extra hours like we do sometimes to get our jobs.
I know, shocking.
While thousands of women took to the streets to protest President Trump's one-year anniversary in office on Saturday, a new poll finds the president's approval rating is rising among men. We'll talk about the effect of this apparent gender gap and what it tells us about the midterm elections in 2020. Stay close.
I would like to take a moment to address my fellow veterans because I know there are so many of you who have served your country honorably, whether it's 2 years, 4 years, or 32 years like myself. One of the benefits that we as a country give you as a veteran is your eligibility for a VA loan. Not 80%, but 100% the value of your home, and that's what you can get at New Day USA.
Go to newdayusa.com or call 1-844-647-6712. It's a new day for veterans who need money for their family. Home values are going up and home equity lending is back.
That's me.
New Day USA has helped thousands of veterans close in as little as 30 days through their valuable VA home loan.
That's me.
Cash to pay credit cards, cash for retirement, or cash just to put in the bank. It's a new day in lending, and for veterans who need money, that can mean a lot.
That's me.
Call New Day USA at 1-844-647-6712.
Get new floors during Empire Today's gigantic 75% off sale. That's carpet, tile, laminate, and even hardwood, 75% off. Empire makes beautiful new floors easy. See samples in your home, get a free estimate during your appointment, and have your floors professionally installed. Update your floors with Empire and get 75% off carpet, tile, laminate, and hardwood. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today. Loretta Lynch controversy. Does new evidence prove she coordinated with Comey during the Clinton probe? Jonathan Turley has insight you can't miss on the story.
Who can be a victim of identity theft? Anyone. You, me, even reality TV star and owner of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, Rick Harrison.
Identity thieves don't care who you are. They just want the money. My identity was stolen. I had over a dozen credit cards and accounts all across the country. I don't know how to fix identity theft.
Rick Harrison helps protect his identity with LifeLock.
Over a dozen accounts were opened in my name, and LifeLock helped fix things every time.
Credit card notifications and checking statements don't show you enough. Even if you monitor your credit, you can miss certain identity theft threats. LifeLock's proprietary network sees more, like your information being sold on the dark web. If there is a problem, our US-based restoration agents dedicated to your case will work to fix it.
As a LifeLock member, I have a whole team of people who've got my back. If there's a problem, I got my guys.
When someone takes what's yours, you want it back. With LifeLock's $1 Million Protection Package, if your money is taken or if you have expenses due to identity theft, LifeLock will either get it back for you or reimburse you for it up to the limit of your plan. Plus, we'll provide lawyers and experts if that's what it takes.
When I don't know enough about something, I call in an expert. When it comes to my identity, the expert I use is LifeLock.
Join today for as low as $9.99 per month and get 30 days free with promo code JOINNOW. LifeLock members get identity threat detection and alerts, a dedicated US-based restoration agent assigned to your case, and you'll be covered by LifeLock's $1 Million Protection Package. Start your membership today. Enroll in minutes.
It's sort of like having your big 400-pound bodyguard standing next to you. No. Deal with him.
LifeLock. Call 1-800-495-0973 or visit lifelockspecial.com.